coffee sitting on the fender.
What are you doing?
I'm going to put the last piece onto our water capture system. This has been months in the making, this thing, and Dad was very helpful in getting me all the parts I needed from Australia. So, quick explanation. Purpose built into this boat are these little drain holes here. So there's a lot of channels and conduits. It's pretty dirty right now. So all we're doing is, instead of diverting this water through this locker into the ocean, we've put a Y valve in here, and the Y valve can then, instead of sending the water as wastewater, it can send it through a filter and into the water tank, which is this big blue thing here. So we have a 20 micron filter in here, and a simple Y valve, just like this. So when the valve is pointing this way, we'll be sending water into the water tank, and when it's closed, it'll just send it through this hose down and out of the boat. So we are fully loaded. We have full diesel tanks, full water tanks. We have enough food and alcohol on board now to last us a good few months, aside from Alyssa's fresh lettuce and other wood vegetables. We're ready to cross the Pacific pretty much. We'll stop over in the Galapagos. Hopefully we don't use too much fuel to get there. So we're almost at a group, an archipelago called Las Perlas. And we were hoping to spend a few nights here, but luck just doesn't seem to be with us, because the weather window for the Galapagos starts tomorrow. And it's not a great window, but it's 3 days of wind versus no wind at all.
So we've just done a quick stop at a place called Islas Las Perlas. We came here to clean the bottom of the boat. We just really ended up cleaning the sides of the boat, which were filthy after being in Panama with this gross yellow stain. The island here is actually famous for being where Survivor is filmed. But unfortunately we didn't have time to go and check out and see all the old camps. So we've just really had a bit of a short stop here and had a look at the beach. It's really nice. There's a few jellyfish and stingers around, which isn't very nice, but it's really scenic and wish we could stay here a little bit longer. So we haven't had the best day today. We were going to have a bit of a mental health day and enjoy ourselves in what we thought was going to be a luxury marina down at Islas Perlas, and unfortunately before we got to the marina we had some problems with one of our engines.
So it took a long time for me to work this out, but it turned out that one of the blowers we have is on the blink.
But the marina was an absolute hole. We luckily didn't damage our boat there. It's just like an old fishing dock, really creaky old yucky wooden platforms and some giant pylons, and really nasty, really expensive. So we left and we are now anchored outside of an island called Isla La Mina for a good night's sleep before we leave tomorrow.
Off to Galapagos.
Off to the Galapagos. Are you okay, baby?
No, I'm in a lot of pain and I'm still getting over this like flu thing.
I only got stung by something this morning.
And I got stung by a jellyfish, and I got 1,000 little cuts on my hand, and I've got fiberglass all through my body from being in the engine bay all day, and I'm sunburnt, and I'm tired, and I'm grumpy.
After some technical issues yesterday with our blower, we are officially on our way to Galapagos. Here we come. I'm not sure how long it's going to take us. There's wind for the next 2 days, maybe 3 if we're lucky, and then we don't know. Alyssa and I are both pretty tired. It feels like we haven't had any downtime to relax since we flew back to Australia for the wedding, so maybe this is going to be the perfect passage where we can just lie around and sleep. Good morning on day number 2 on our passage to Galapagos. Last night was pretty uneventful. We made good speed with a following current and a northerly wind, which pushed us south, which is where we wanted to go to try and find this very narrow band of wind that's out here. More importantly, we found this great band of current that's been pushing us along now pretty much for the whole time. We weren't quite sure how this passage was going to go because it's notoriously challenging for any sort of sustained winds. So we're just sitting slightly above the Intertropical Convergence Zone, the ITCZ. Once we get closer to that though, we're expecting the winds to become very unsettled and as we enter what's otherwise known as the doldrums. Alyssa and I just caught the biggest fish, from a weight perspective at least, of our journey, and this thing put up a really hard fight. Swam under the boat a number of times, took all the line. It's a yellowfin tuna. I'm going to struggle to pick it up, but we'll give it a go. That's got away a good 25-30 kilo. Oh my god, look at that fillet.
It's day 4 on our passage to the Galapagos Islands. We haven't had that much wind over the last 12 hours, which was forecasted, so we motored for quite a bit and now sailing along quite slowly around 4 knots. Feeling a bit blah this morning. Didn't really like yesterday's experience with catching the large yellowfin tuna. It was such a beautiful animal, had these enormous eyes, and just it was really sad bringing it onto the boat and killing it. Really didn't enjoy the experience. So we've got heaps of tuna on board, which is awesome, but it's just heartbreaking killing such a beautiful animal.
I think day 4 is best described as the day the wind stopped as well, and the current started going against us. So our dream passage came to a pretty abrupt end, and now we can't really sail because the wind is right on our nose or thereabouts, and we have a 1 to 1.5 current going in the opposite direction. What to report? Not much. I've been reading a lot, just chilling out. It rained yesterday, which was quite fun. Alyssa and I both showered on deck. Another positive outcome was I got to test the water installation, or the water catcher installation that I did before we left Panama, and it worked. Surprisingly, it worked, and it topped up one of our water tanks. So we should arrive into Galapagos without any real water worries, assuming that it rains a few times while we're out there in the Pacific. And another dinner of tuna ahead tonight. Tuna, tuna, tuna.
It's day 6 on our passage to the Galapagos Islands. Also hit a couple of milestones yesterday. We've just reached 11-month anniversary on the boat, and also hitting 9,000 nautical miles, which is approximately half of the distance we expect to do to take the boat from Greece back to Australia. So pretty exciting. We've had a bit of wind on and off over the last 24 hours. We've been able to do more sailing than what we'd expected, but also had to do a bit of motoring. Right now it's pretty grey and overcast. We've had a current which has been going against us for the last few days, which we weren't expecting, as it's supposed to be a westerly going current. So we keep hoping we're going to find the current to take us where we want to go, but so far not too much luck.
I feel a bit queasy, a bit green. I normally don't get seasick, but it's a bit like that feeling we sometimes get after you've been scuba diving and just waiting to get into the boat. I was just in the water, like cleaning the hull, getting all of the surface gunk off the hull, because they inspect your boat when you go into the Galapagos, and we might get there tomorrow with some luck. I was worried the water was going to be a lot cooler than what it is, but the water's fine, but it was very challenging to swim underneath the boat in these sorts of conditions. It's not rough, but the boat's still... It's around midnight and Alyssa and I are both pretty tired. I actually woke Alyssa up because it's a very special occasion. We're going to celebrate crossing the equator. Again, but we're doing it on a sailboat this time. So we actually physically crossed the equator in Ecuador a while back. But it's meant to be a special occasion on a sailboat. Oh, I just got it. So we're just off the coast of San Cristobal. We'll be there by 5 PM, which is a nice relief. Alyssa and I thought we might not be there till tomorrow morning, so it'll be nice to be on anchor. It's been a pretty smooth passage, no big seas, the winds have been pretty kind to us. And finally, on the last day, we get a current that's going in our favour. Well, we had current for 2 days in our favour, but we really need it now because we want to get there by 5 PM.